them here real quick. So let me move them down into the chat. TRS, how's it going? Energy, what's up? And Dan27.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound great.
Great.
Dude.
Can you hear me?
Yep. You sound great, Dan.
Perfect.
How about Energy? How's it going, buddy?
Hello.
I just wanted to mention, because somebody said the map is sus. We were all cylinders, firing all cylinders the last couple of days. We discovered after release that almost every single time you played the map on the new Xboxes, not only would it crash Minecraft, but it would crash the entire console and it would shut down. And the same thing on the Nintendo Switch. So we made it. We did too good of a job on the glitches. So we were trying to fix it, and we made it in time. So I'm very proud of our
it was like
team for
legitimately too glitchy. It was too glitchy parkour or glitchist parkour. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, but dudes, that was super cool. How about let's do a quick interview or little introduction. We got Everbloom Games. How we start with you, TRS, then Energy, then Dan, and just give a little intro and what you did for the map.
Hi, I'm the Redstone Scientist, or TRS, and I'm the creative director and project manager at Everbloom Studios. I mean, Everbloom Games. Okay, Everbloom Games is part of Everbloom Studios, and I keep forgetting to say the different thing.
Yeah, I'm Dan. I'm same from Everbloom Games. I'm level designer, and for this map, I was also creative director.
I am Daniel as well, Energixer, and I was the dev for the map.
That's awesome. Okay, so I want to start with like whose idea was this map? And Dan's.
Yep.
So what was some of the inspiration then? Like, how did you come up with this idea?
So I came up with this idea the same period that Crash Bandicoot 4 came out, and I was like, what about making a parkour map for Minecraft that is not just parkour? So the first idea, the initial idea was like, let's make a parkour through some words. So nothing about the glitch dimension or the AI.
It's originally through time.
Yeah. Oh, true. At the beginning was like through time and space. Okay. Then TRS and Marady, which was the writer for the map, helped me with like coming with some cool ideas, and we just mixed up the ideas together, and in the end the glitch parkour came out. So at the beginning I was just like, let's make a parkour map that is not just a parkour map and through different words and time. But then luckily they helped me and we came out with this concept.
If you recall, you mentioned that we reused the ninja parkour mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we use them in Food City as well, and which these are mechanics that Energy developed that we knew we wanted to do something else with it, something that was more linear. And yeah, I think I came up with the idea of like, what if we have this gigantic tentacled wall of ones and zeros, like sort of pushing you forward.
Yeah, I mean, like the way that you kind of built the character is like, I feel like it was such efficient storytelling. Was one of the really cool things. So I'm curious kind of about the writing process, because like you were immediately, introduced into this world. You met the main kind of character, and then she was like, this cool AI dev, that kind of thing. But then you just like immediately understood what was kind of happening. So how did you, like, what is your writing process like, and how were you able to kind of efficiently, tell that story through the game?
Well, unfortunately, I can't speak for Merity, or her username's Mermaid Things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for her on terms of her writing process, but in terms of what we did on this map, basically, as always, we first have our design doc. We get an idea of what we want to do, and then we hand it off to Merity to be like, okay, well, here are the parameters of what we need. And we're thinking this many levels, where we think we have enough time to do this many levels. We're thinking, and basically, and Energy can talk about this. We started talking about gigs, GIGs, in our thing. One of the other things that inspired this was if you remember way back when we made a map called Trickster's Dreamland.
Yep.
And that was Energy's first map with us, actually. And there was a parody of Mr. Clippy, or the whatever his name is, the Microsoft Word assistant, and the game starts glitching out. And we thought that was a really novel idea. And we said, what if we made a whole map where we did that? So GIG is glitch illusion gags. And so I basically said, let's make sure that they make sense within the story. So you and Energy, you meaning Merity and Energy, you guys work together to sort of find out, one, what is possible. Let's come up with some ideas. And two, where in the levels they're going to go. Like, let's map it out. And Energy can talk about that.
Yeah, so basically, I was just tasked to make like weird effects, like to make the game feel like it was glitching out. And well, yeah, I just came up with a lot of concepts. One of the first things was the glitch wall with the AI, which is just a bunch of particles, and there's a bunch of tentacles coming out of that wall. And those tentacles are actually a model, but we came up with something to make particles surround like the surface of a model. So that's what we did.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, so I feel like that tentacle thing added such a what's the right word, like pressure, for the player to continue kind of going through the parkour, and it really ratcheted up the intensity too as well. And every time I looked back, it was just this like mass of like, you couldn't even really tell what was going on, but it looked just terrifying. So it was a combination of models and then kind of particles that kind of went all across those models. Is kind of the way you guys did that. That's cool.
One of our big concerns early on, from the moment we pitched this idea of the wall, was how are we going to make sure that devices can't handle it? It's worth mentioning this is mid-tier gray listed, although it ran fine on our own devices, on our own mid-tier devices. But anyway, we were worried about, how many particles is that going to be? Is it going to be tens of thousands of particles? Tristan Production says, how can a map so complex not bug up? So we had to really think outside the box in terms of how to make things more efficient. And maybe Energy could tell us a little bit about what the glitch wall is made of.
Yeah, it's basically like 3 parts. The wall itself, which is just flat like numbers, and that one I had to like do a little bit more optimization, because originally there were just a bunch of, each particle was in a 0 or a 1, but that to make it dense enough, it would have to have like thousands of particles. So I had to reduce it by just making each particle have like a bunch of zeros and ones. So that's one of the first things I did for optimization. And another part is the tentacles, which I just explained. I had to tweak the density so like you could still make out that they were tentacles and they were moving, but again, didn't want to have too many particles.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, the radiation sort of, it's called radiation in the files, but it's just zeros and ones that come out of the wall and move forward. So even if like you're facing away from the wall, if it's close enough, you can see the particles coming from behind the camera.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a really unique like way of making an enemy, because I think a lot of marketplace maps, you'll have some incredible models or things like that, but kind of using all of those different techniques to make this just AI nightmare terrifying thing that chases after you is cool. So how long did it take you to kind of make the whole map? So Star Origins in the chat has that question. I think somebody else did too as well.
Dan, do you remember when we started building? I wasn't prepared for the question, so I don't have it in front of me.
I don't actually remember, but I remember the time that it took to make the map.
Yeah, the level design, the building took way longer than we initially had budgeted time for, and that's not due to any inefficiency or anything. It's just because there were all of these other considerations that we hadn't had to do before when it came to these movement mechanics. There was a lot more testing required, a lot more. Dan can talk about that.
Yeah. So the process that we usually do is make the map as a gray box and then see how the mechanics works together, so that if one jump, for example, takes too long or it's too hard, we can fix it easily and stuff like that. So
So I just
initially,
go ahead.
yeah, but initially, I remember that I tested a lot the levels. So like it took 2 weeks to test those levels and make them. But then detailing them, like with all the colors, if you remember, the first level was very vaporwave style. That
Mhm.
one, for example, took a bit more, just to come up with the idea, like, uh, and also the different firewalls have different themes, so it's not boring. It's not every time the same theme. Um, so in general, I think that just for the map construction, it took like 1 month, and testing, of course.
I just looked it up. That we had our first concept meeting on October 1st last year,
Mhm.
and then the map was submitted on February 9th of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
about 5 months ish, probably something around there, maybe.
And probably with some delays in between as we work on other things. So I mean, all things considered, it's really really fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I think that's the coolest part. Because I want to talk a little bit about the movement mechanics. Because I was like, so we played Ninja Parkour several months ago, and I thought that was just such a cool map. And then also the way it worked with multiplayer, where we just had everybody running around trying to find all of the little like golden statues and things like that. So I fell in love with like that movement mechanic. So getting to play it again in like this more kind of linear kind of adventure map was really really neat. So how did so first question, did you have to tweak the kind of the values to make it kind of fit with the level design of like how far you would jump or things like that?
Yes, actually, maybe not the precise values of the like how far you go, but well, one of the things is that like each of these parkour style maps have like different goals. Because for example, Ninja Parkour is more about like exploration and finding just searching things in the open world. Food City is also kind of similar, but it doesn't test your skill as much. It's more mostly just to have fun and
Mm-hmm.
just run around. But this one, we decided we wanted it to be more linear and skill based. So that meant that the controls had to be a lot more snappy, a lot more responsive. So like as for example, one of the things that bothered me about Ninja Parkour in Food City is the wall jump. Well, the wall slide, for example. If and those maps, if you were in a wall slide, you could very easily just move away from the wall and fall to your death. So we couldn't really have that here because it's not the map doesn't support that. It would become very annoying if it did. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
things I had to do was like put like a wall in between, like put the player between two walls, the wall that they see and an invisible one, so they can't easily just move away and fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
so you
one
had
of
to
the
really kind of
things.
like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so you had to really kind of like it was like a mixture of both. Like you had to kind of make sure the level design worked in a way that the player could scale it using that, but then also kind of tweaking the things. Because like are the magnets, was that kind of a tweak on the grapple hook too as well?
Yes, actually, we decided early on that we wouldn't want to use the grappling hook because you had to aim and it made it really slow. But I kind of challenged myself to like come up with a grappling hook that didn't require aiming and didn't break the flow of the map. And the magnets are basically the result of that.
Yeah, because there's definitely like, I mean, I feel like going back to the level design, you made these levels work in such a great it gave you this like sense of flow, where you're just like, especially with the magnets, because they just worked super well, where you could really chain together a wall jump, a wall run into a magnet. Like it's the way that you built all those levels was really good. So going into the level design, how many like iterations of the levels did you guys do? And did you do any like kind of like play testing too as well?
Yes, The focal point of this was that with energy, so with the dev, I was able to have like a prototype version of the mechanics, so that I can every time I finish a level, I could have tested it and see if there were any problems with like hard jumps and stuff like that. Another thing that I wanted to do that you can see in some spots is that you can actually see the glitch coming like at you, the wall. You can watch it coming to you, and just make it feel like uh, you have pressure and you have to move. In some other cases, for example, for the wall-to-wall jump that you have to go up, there was a very strange collaboration with the dev to make like the arrows that not make notice you that you have to go up, so that it's not so it's very like guided even if you don't notice it. Reaching to the final level, the final level was the most iconic one because it's like the corrupted, so it's like a combination of all the pieces of the previous levels, and it uses every mechanic that you have seen in the other levels. For example, in the sci-fi city, there is
Mhm.
the jumping on the car mechanic,
Yeah.
and the medieval one has more magnets than the others, and the first one has more wall jumps than the others. So the final level has a combination of those things, and just like super messy, so that you can actually notice the messy things going on, because that was the intention.
Yeah, and I
But
can
yeah,
also. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was saying that in general it took quite a lot of time to just test the level. Like it took more time testing the level than making them actually.
And actually, something that is kind of peculiar for this map is that we had to have the mechanics ready for the build, because usually we dev after the build is done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes
One
sense.
of the
Yeah,
things
because you would have to have the ability to do all of the the wall jumps and all that kind of stuff into the map before you could actually like, start testing those parkour experiences.
one of the things I've talked about before in your interviews with us is that it's difficult because we have to run the company, we have to and we have to pump out games that are up to our quality standards. Uh, we don't have the same luxuries that other indie games or AAA games do, in that it's a lot harder to have time for iteration. It's a lot harder to have time for you know, for iteration, for
Mhm.
going back and forth, for talking to the other teams. So we have to sort of come up with a new way of doing it for each situation, where we consider, okay, well, what is essential to have at what time. It's essential to have these mechanics here. And so as much as I would love to have redone these levels 100 times, I think considering everything that we had, it's pretty excellent.
No, I agree, and there's a couple of instances like Dan, you mentioned, where you could see the the glitch particles and stuff like that coming through the walls, and I could definitely tell that like those were intentional, like the kind of like left turns, right turns, where you could start seeing them, the pathfinding of that thing, move, and you could start seeing it go through the walls. I thought that was really really kind of excellent level design. So another question from the chat from Jiggerbob says, "What was your favorite glitch to program that wasn't the console shutting down, that wasn't crashing Xboxes?"
My favorite one has to be the pause screen gag at the end,
Yeah, that was super
where like
cool.
the pause menu opens up and it takes you to the loading screen and then credits.
Yeah,
Now, am I correct? Doesn't that update to be whatever the loading screen is in the current update of Minecraft?
Yes.
that's wild.
One of the things that I think is really, and there are a lot of things there that are sort of easy to miss, but luckily you get to replay it. I think one of the there are two really interesting things I want to call out. The first is the the player being seen at the end. Obviously, in this example, it was just Steve, but it is your own skin, and we've actually since used that in an upcoming map to actually for a story purpose, and I think that's opened up some new possibilities for us. And the other one is, I always found, Energy, your explanation of how you did the dev console, which you just saw the end of in this stream. So the dev console was really cool because you can see the letters being typed out. It's not just like a slideshow of text. You can see each letter being typed as if someone is typing it. Energy, can you? I can't do it justice. How does it work?
Well, yeah, it's a little bit complicated, but it has to do with like scaling both the texture and the model at the same time.
Oh, interesting. To kind of make it all kind of like the text to show up correctly, basically.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like scrolling, right? It's sort of scrolling along the text available to make it seem as if it's being typed.
Oh, I see. I kind of
That
what
could
you're
have
talking
been an
about.
option. Yeah, that's not what I did, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
a little bit similar. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, I mean, I feel like that's just what's so interesting about a lot of these, Minecraft's, or just marketplace maps in general, is that there's so many unique ways to use entities, particles, all of those kinds of things, and then put them all together with the level of polish with the adventure mode, or adventure style map with voiceover work and characters and all that stuff. It's super impressive what you can actually kind of make, really.
One of the other really cool things that I think most people don't notice on their first playthrough is the skybox kind of exploding. That skybox that really, I think, is so essential to the look and feel of the game. The grid, which rotates, is sort of opens up. Each plane of it expands to open up to the sky.
Yeah, so I mean, like, that was the coolest thing too, is like, jumping in, you immediately are just like, oh, this is something different. This is something that is, if it just feels so different than what you just experienced, because of the skybox of the grid, because of the colors, because of the voiceover, the music, all of it really, comes together to make this, very convincing, experience to the player. That's really damn cool, I think.
I think one of the really interesting things about the art direction on this is that a big part. Typically, Ninja would be here with us, Tian, to talk about the art direction. Although the art direction was largely sort of just starting out for the builders to be able to know, what they were building, and then a huge part of the actual artistic look and feel of it came from Energy implementing the various glitches and the various visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
So that really gave him a chance to also, show his artistic prowess as well.
Yeah, and then all the music is custom too as well, right? Was that in-house? That you guys did the music, or
it's not in-house music? It's from it's royalty-free music, but the wording of custom music, we use the music command, which requires you to have the music slider on, so that's why we had to mention that.
Yep, that's cool. Any other questions from the chat? We have Game Expert 02 is a big fan of Dan27, just in the chat hanging out. So shout out to Dan27 from Game Expert 02. But yeah, any other questions from the chat? Because I don't know. This was just, every once in a while I play one of these maps like this that just blows me away at how far Minecraft has come. And I feel like this is one of those that just had all of the elements that just makes a really cool, like, full cohesive experience that that you're not gonna get this in any other sort of like platform, which is really neat.
One of the things that was really exciting to me in production of this was when we brought it to the QA team, and they started telling us again and again about how this is their favorite map to play. They're so blown away by it, and they love playing it again and again. It doesn't feel like work. It's I was like, wow, this is. I think that's a really good sign that we, as a company, have sort of been able to evolve from our beginnings of like, let's just make something cool, to both something that is cool, but also something that we ourselves would love to play.
Yeah. Yeah, something that you're like, oh, I actually want to, do a little in-house, speed run challenge and, things along those lines with this map.
Yeah.
If I can mention one little thing,
Mhm.
is that if you remember the tutorial level, is the same room of the dev, but like made
Oh,
in a
like the initial
bigger
cutscene
scale.
level or the where you meet the character?
No, I mean the tutorial level. The first thing you do, like learning the mechanics of the
Mhm.
map.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like it's the same room, just scaled up 16 times. But every like the library, for example, where you jump and everything else is the same room, just made it bigger. And then when you when you have the first cutscene where there is a zoom in the screen, very cool, very smooth, that takes you to the lobby. You can actually notice that the screens, for example, on the desk are the same of the ones that you just played in the tutorial. So that's a little thing I want to
Oh,
say.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love
Also,
that. That's so cool.
I want to shout out energy for the animations, like in the tutorial, the little man
Oh
jumping.
yeah, the
And
particles.
yeah, the
Oh
particles.
yeah, I love that.
So
So
Jig,
what
go ahead. Finish your thought, TRS.
I was gonna say, we have a special stage at the end, which some companies would call polish, others we call it juice. A juice stage where basically the minimum viable product is reached, but it's just now time for adding particles and sounds and everything else that's just gonna make it feel nice, gonna make it feel juicy. This
Mhm.
is definitely one of our juiciest maps. It's and so as I'm sure we've talked about before, the particles in it are just insane. And every day, Energy would be posting a change log about, what other amazing concepts he came up with. A lot of this was just sort of uh, Energy having some time and adding it, as opposed to something that was planned from the beginning.
Yeah. That's so cool. You can taste the juice, Jig says. I agree. It's real tasty. So Jig also asks, glitch parkour 2 in the real world win. I feel like the AI needs to return.
The AI can return if everybody helps support the map.
Go buy the map. Yeah, exactly. That's how
Yeah,
you guarantee a sequel.
show us that people like the map, and we'll make more.
Well, you got one purchase today. It was from me, so there you go.
That's all I need.
Just just helping the cause. Well, awesome. Let's see. Those are the questions that I had. I was such a cool map. Heaven's Gift had so many questions, but I guess they're kind of under NDA. I don't know. There's probably some things you can ask that I don't know. Everyone might reveal some of their secrets.
I'm the guy who decides what's a secret and what isn't in our company, so I can.
Yeah, that's true. So Heaven's Gift, feel free to ask any of those questions. All right. To wrap up, I'm trying to think. We got to ask the classic question. I know you've answered this already because I think this is maybe the third time we've had Everbloom on the stream. One of my favorite people to have on the stream, by the way. You're all my favorite people, but you're in the top 3. Don't tell the other people that.
Okay.
What's your favorite flavor of crisp?
Do you mean chip?
Sort of, kind of.
I guess we're no longer your favorites. Uh, plain.
Just plain like just regular. I can get with that.
I guess barbecue. I don't know. I don't eat. Oh, okay. Like, I guess. Ugh, I have annoying answers like veggie chips and
Hey, that's fine.
jalapeno chips.
You got to pick one though. What about you, Dan?
I would say with paprika.
Ooh, that's a great choice.
Thank you.
Energy.
I don't really know. I don't eat them that much.
Oh, that's fair.
You're a developer. That's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie. He's lying.
I'm kind of with Chris on here. I actually can get down with some veggie chips, especially with like a good dip. Like a veggie chip with a good dip is pretty money. So, well, Everbloom, thank you guys so much for hopping in, making a great map, and talking a little bit about how you made it. I love getting a little inside scoop on first off, mind blown how you made the AI with like the entities and the particles and all that stuff. So pretty impressive work there. Any last shout outs that you wanna give before we sign off?
Well, I would list everybody in the credits, but I'm gonna forget people, so I'm not going to. But yeah, if you guys enjoy the map, please buy it. Please share it. There's not a whole lot of online buzz that gets generated about particular maps. So if you guys want to see more stuff from this universe, please support the map. Buy it. Tell your friends. Post about it on social media. Retweet us, because I would love to see, this is, if not one of my favorites that we've made. So I'd love to see this map really take off.
I agree. Tweet more GIFs and we'll boost. Brightmore says, yeah, just throw out some GIFs.
Done.
I'll do a retweet of a GIF. Easy. Dan Energy, thank you so much for hopping in. Amazing work as always with the level design and the mechanics design, and TRS for keeping everybody in line.
Thanks.
you.
You just reduced my entire career to a single sentence. Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's what I did too as well. I just have 600, 700 people that I have to keep in line, which makes it a little trickier than
Some people on our team count for 400, I would say.
Yeah, if I had to weight different teams, that conversation will go in a bad direction. But
yeah,
there's teams that we enjoy giving extra help to. I'll say it like that. So
I would think we're one of them.
You are, yeah, definitely. A lot of teams are. There's really no team we don't like. So
all right. Well, thank you so much for having us and for playing the map.
Of course. All right. Well, let's see. May I send a gift to Juju style? Oh yeah, of course. All right, I'm gonna kick you all out of this channel. Well, I guess you could just stay here if you want, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm gonna go, but thanks so much for the opportunity to speak about it.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
See you later.
Yeah.
See you all later.